Hey guys, it's Chelsa Messenger with Picks and Parlays. We're talking baseball. We're one series into the season and plenty of baseball as far as the eye can see. This matchup, we're breaking down White Sox Mariners. You can get MLB early bird passes, one capper's picks all season long for just $549. White Sox minus 140 here. Total is 7.5 runs in Seattle. White Sox open up 1-3 in that series against the Angels. We've got Lucas Giolito, their ace, throwing in this one. 3.38 ERA, pitching well on opening day, but he didn't get the win. 8 straight strikeouts and 5 1/3 innings of work. The White Sox bullpen, not great in their opening series. Then you've got the Mariners coming in 2-1 after winning a series over the Giants. They've got James Paxton returning after a stint with the Yankees. The lefty striking out 17 batters in just 8 1/3 innings of work in spring training, which I know it's just spring training, but always good to have some momentum going into the regular season. And it should be noted we're filming this before Monday night's game, so keep that in mind. We've got Kurt Alexander joining us to break this one all down. Kurt, initial thoughts on White Sox and Mariners?
Initial thoughts, Chelsa? This should be a pitching gem. Like you said, James Paxton, welcome back. Paxton was traded in this big deal a few years ago to the New York Yankees, and it just didn't really work out. First year with the Yankees, he had a decent season with the Yankees, going 15-6 with a 3.82 ERA. Second season, not as much. He finished 1-1, with a 6.64 ERA. And, I'm sure he's happy to be back in Seattle. That's actually where he had his best seasons. As we know, he started off there. And in 2017, actually, he was 12-5 with a 2.98 ERA. And that's probably why the Yankees really wanted him on their pitching staff to kind of help them get them over the hump there in the playoffs. But that didn't work out. He's back here with Seattle. Things are starting well for Seattle, as they usually do. As we know, Seattle, they're really good starters to the season, and then something happens, and then they kind of fade, and before you know it, they're in rebuilding mode again. Hopefully that doesn't happen this year. Coming into town, you have the Chicago White Sox. The storyline in Chicago, you got Tony La Russa there. You got Giolito, as you mentioned, had a really good start, didn't get the win because of that bullpen. But you also have Yermin Mercedes, and set a major league record this week with an 8-for-8 start to start the season. Which is unbelievable, as we know how tough baseball is, and for you to start the season that way, that is really impressive. I'm actually going with the White Sox here. They've been snake bit by their bullpen in the first couple games. I don't know if you saw the walk-off that happened in LA on Easter Sunday. That's one of my things. I never bet against the Angels on Sunday, especially not Easter Sunday, but it's just I don't never necessarily bet with them. I just don't bet against them, if that makes any sense. So I don't bet against the Angels on Sunday. It doesn't always work out for me, but we saw the bullpen kind of give it up there. I'm thinking that the Sox have had the lead in most of these games so far this season. I think this one, they will be able to finish it off with Giolito starting his second game. So I'm leaning more towards the White Sox here. And it's a really cheap price for a really dominant pitcher. I think you take advantage of that 140 now, because he'll be much higher later on.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's because of this White Sox bullpen that has been absolutely blowing it in their first series. That's the problem, I think, for the White Sox. But it's also why the price is a little bit better. Bullpen giving up 3 runs on Sunday, 3 runs on the 8th, in the 8th on Saturday, and also 2 runs in the 8th the game before. But the thing about the White Sox, if you remember last season, the White Sox absolutely crush left-handed pitching. They were the first team in baseball history to go an entire season, granted it was a short season, but 14-0 against left-handed pitching, which is absolutely incredible. And what that says is they have some right-handed sticks that can absolutely mash lefties. And you know who's a lefty? James Paxton. Granted, we're still waiting on the results of Monday night's game, where they're playing against a lefty too. But this White Sox lineup, good against lefties. So if you got a lefty starter, there's a pretty good chance that the White Sox are going to win. Looking at a total of 7.5 runs, any feelings there?
If I had to jump on a total, like I said, you have two aces, I guess you could say, on the mound here, but we haven't seen Paxton in a while. And he did perform well during spring training, but now, the lights are going to be shining bright during the regular season, and hopefully, he can gather his nerves. He's a veteran pitcher, so I look for him to keep them in the game, to keep this as a close game, maybe a pitching duel to start, but we've already talked about the bullpens. So when you have a bullpen like Chicago's that will give it up, and you have a team like Seattle that does find ways to kind of manufacture runs later on, I think the 7.5 is basically just showing you that you have two good pitchers starting the games. But when you look at both of these bullpens, I don't think you could trust it. So I'll take it over that 7.5.
Right, and 7.5 is pretty low. We're giving a lot of credit to both of these pitchers and also the bullpens. I think that's going to be the key in this one, is how much the bullpen can contribute, especially when Giolito isn't going his normal 7 and 8 innings. He only went 5 1/3 in his first one, which I know these pitchers build up, and he could go a complete game shutout. Who knows? But probably not. He's probably still building up his pitch count. So the bullpen's still probably going to be a factor in this one. Anything else you think better should know?
With a game like this, I'm one of those people where I love the in play. So if you see opportunities to get a better number, maybe on the total, maybe where it does start off a low scoring game, and you'll see that because 7.5, they're going to have to adjust the line. So if you see them going 2 or 3 innings and that total starts to tick down to maybe 5.5, and you know that the bullpens are going to be a factor in this game, then I would definitely see if you can't get a better total there to take the over on the a lower total, the 5.5, maybe, because it is starting at 7.5, and that is a very, very low total for Major League Baseball this season.
For sure, and that's good advice for any team that has a bullpen that can blow it. That's going to do it for our baseball talk here on Picks and Parlays. Great stuff from Kurt Alexander. Kurt, thanks for joining us.